Yeah, no, I've been working on everything. I just kept on over it and double checking it. It all makes sense, you know. So,
It makes sense when a painter talks to you about it.
yeah, absolutely, and that's what I was saying.
So what we're doing today with this chrome is a customer of mine asked me to replace the stock inlay of paint that goes in between each of these little tiny louvers in these cast chrome pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate some of the U01 black with some KU200. I'm going to reduce it down with the U00. And we're going to palette that, and then we're going to come back in here with some red and fill this in. And we're going to activate it. I always like to activate everything that's on top of the clear. It makes it more durable and shiny and just more long lasting. I always try and use a separate container too when I mix it and I use the catalyst, because obviously you're adding activator to this paint and you don't want to put it back into the jar. I always like to put a few drops in. Definitely don't want to over catalyze it. Just give it enough to where it has a little something in there. I just like to palette it on the piece of tape. I like using tape because it gives it a little bit of extra grip to palette on. Magazines and stuff like that, you could pick up the ink from the magazine. Sometimes it's a little too slick. You want to palette it until there's a slight pull on the brush. And that's usually when it's ready. I've noticed that when you do tight, intricate things like this, you want to use less reducer, more paint, so it doesn't want to bleed out and leave a nice cleaner edge. So if you're doing this and it's an older cast piece that's been chromed and there's still some imperfections in the and pits in the chrome itself, what I like to do is I'll take extra paint, less reducer, and I'll just go in there and I'll just fill it in. With that being said, it won't be so reduced that it'll kind of not fill that little crater area. You can come in and just spot it in with some nice under reduced striping enamel and just fill that thing right in, and hides it really well. You can see how well it's turning out. All right, now we got our helmet all unmasked, looking pretty. I left some open areas for us to pinstripe. I just want to kind of briefly go over pinstripe brushes. These are your standard pinstripe brushes. These are a blue wrap ferrule, one from MAC. They come in different sizes. This one is, as you could tell, is probably a workhorse of mine, so we're going to go ahead and use that one. Brushes come in all different shapes and sizes and forms and functionality. This is like a liner brush. This is like a little detail brush. This is a little Art Kafka brush for doing really small details. So all brushes and quills are meant for a certain purpose. We're going to do more of a hot rod style, lowrider style stripe design on this. One thing that I should recommend is when you're doing a design, it's less reducer, more paint. If I was going to do a line down the side of a car, I would have more reducer than I would if I was to do a little design, because I'm trying to pull a line all the way down the side of a car. I'm not trying to do a little design. If I'm coming into a turn, let's say to outline a flame, I'm going to have more paint, less reducer, so I can control the brush before it folds out on me. If I had more reducer, it would want to bleed out, run out, and as I'm turning the brush, it's not going to want to stay in a nice perfect line. So less reducer, more paint when you're doing turns or small intricate stuff. So since the pinstripes are going to be buried underneath the clear, I'm not going to activate this product. On the chrome pieces, I did activate them because they give more durability, more shine on top of the piece that I was doing, which was chrome. Or if I was gonna do it on top of a clear coat of an existing car, I would do an activator in it. But because I'm gonna be spraying probably 2 to 3 coats of clear coat over this, I'm not gonna activate it, it'd be totally fine. So let's get started.